Hey, what is up, everybody? Today is going to be the last in my series that, well, what ended up turning into a series on my Canonet QL17GIII. The reason it's going to be the last is, one, it was never intended to be a series. My point of these kind of videos was kind of to keep doing different cameras and different films, but I've actually just found it really fun to carry this thing around with me on my bicycle trips, and so I've just ended up running a couple more rolls through it, and I figured I might as well go through them here. And then the second reason is because I finished up the second roll on Sunday night and I dropped it off at the lab in their film depository box. And I went and picked it up yesterday. And yesterday was supposed to be the last day in Ohio we did any non-essential trips. We have a stay-at-home order here with everything that's going on. And so I want to do my part and not travel around. So it's probably the last time I'm going to be doing C41 color negative for a while, since I'm not going to be going out to the lab. The lab, he said he's quasi-open because he does work for the police department in the city, but, I don't think it would be right to be going out to doing, hobby photography stuff. So anyways, I have all the materials here to do black and white, which is more of my passion anyways. So I think from here on out, I'll probably, or for a while, jump back into the black and white photography and show some of those cameras and the SLRs that are more of my cup of tea. But anyways, for now, let's jump on into these two rolls of film. The first image here is of a temple in South Akron, pretty close to the color lab, actually. And it was just kind of cool because, they took a house here and converted it into that. And it just, looks like all the other houses except all this cool Eastern decoration. And the light on it was perfect at the time. It was evening. The next shot is a pedestrian overpass over the freeway, pedestrian bridge over the freeway. I don't know. I just always think this angle looks so cool. Maybe because I didn't grow up around close enough to a freeway where I had any sidewalks that went over them. So to me, maybe it's just an interesting, different perspective, and maybe that's pretty mundane and boring to a lot of people. This is just looking down that same fence, and I just like the leading lines and the light we had at the time. Just yep. And the next shot is, I went for a ride with Aaron this day, and I was going to take some photos on the ride, but we never really stopped. We just kind of kept moving. It was a beautiful day, and we both only had limited time. I also remember this is when things were starting to kind of become more like heated up with the coronavirus thing, but it wasn't that big of a deal yet. And as you can see, these photos are the next day when I had a friend come into town, and we still weren't really being, we weren't even being told to be as cautious at this point yet. This is his daughter, Sophia, and I took him to Cascade Locks, so a place for the kids to go and explore that I thought would be kind of interesting. This is them, kind of checking out the old train bridge and the new one. Here they're looking at some of the rust on the new bridge. After me and Aaron had a drink at Acronym, when you could still sit in a bar. I just think this kind of shows the latitude C41 film has, and it's pretty cool. And then if you look in the Acronym glass, you could see the buildings on West Market Street inverted. And this just looking the other way at the in the brewery. Then this is the night I just went out for a ride when the light was good. Went out by the downtown gravel, again, as we call it. That's the old Firestone headquarters that's been in my videos a number of times. I actually ran into my friend Andy while I was out and about, and we stopped and had a beer. And this is only, a few days later, but it shows how much everything has changed because we kept our social distance, and we weren't sharing beers like we would in the past. So, and this little spot, here it is looking down at the towpath, has kind of become our little unofficial hangout for a couple of us because it's a place we could ride our bikes to, meet up and be able to talk, but not actually have to be that close to each other. I've shown a photo just like this on these videos, but the train happened to be coming by at the perfect time here, so of course you have to snap that. And then the orange box cars going over the bridge, just kind of cool. I had to go up to Westlake to do some drone footage for a realty company, and so I brought my bike, and after I went to Rocky River Reservation and had the camera with me again, and right where I started on the trail, I took a number of photos. This one I just like because of the shadows of the benches. I always like this kind of series thing, and all these little shadows I thought looked kind of cool. This is looking across the river there at just these kind of interesting looking condo buildings. I'd never been here before. I believe this is called the Emerald Necklace Marina. I just kind of wanted to see how this would come out on the film. You could see the sparkles on the water. And since I had the aperture at its smallest, you can kind of actually, if you look in the little sunburst, you could see the aperture blades. Just looking towards the marina, too early for any boats to be out. And now they probably wouldn't I'm sure the facility's not even open. This guy fishing, I kind of liked it because how his coat kind of matches the bank, but there's light on him and not on the steep river bank there. This was a little barge. I don't know if they use this, if they dredge out the marina or what, but just kind of cool with the repetitive two backhoes and the colors. And then this is looking up over the barge at this building, this office building that was integrated, must be into the old bridge that has since been replaced. Just kind of unique. I have a better photo of that coming up. This is one of my favorites from that day. I just like that, looking at the other one through that one, the colors, the shapes. That is it for that roll of film. Let me jump into the other one. These red tables. This is probably a cool spot to hang out in the summer and watch all the activity. But before everything's green, I just kind of like the red on the brown and blue there. It's back on that barge. I guess I didn't put these in order quite right. But yeah, I just like that kind of close-up shot of that orange paint on these steel cables. Here's the better shot of that building. That's just kind of interesting, where you could see the new bridge and how that was the old bridge. Just super unique. I need to look up kind of the story on that. I did like this image with the red rails. I like the red rails and the shadows, just kind of in the lines. Just a kind of an interesting one there. So this, I made a video here that I posted a couple days ago, a vlog. I rode out to the Moon Tower in Kent, and I did a video, but I also had the film camera with me. Obviously, this is the bike I rode out there. So the Moon Tower is actually an old water tower that was a big rail yard, and now it's mostly overgrown with the woods, and there's just kind of cool stuff around there. It's been in a lot of my photos and some of my videos before. And then I shot some of the graffiti. This ninth thing kind of looked cool. My bike leaning up with the pillars, just covered in paint. Kill. The pink behind that and the black. Just, cool color photography. Kent. Someone wanted us to know where we were, I guess. This is looking up at the water tower. I like these lines, but the image came out a little overexposed. The image itself's not so great, but in the context of the other ones, it makes sense. And then, so the rest of the roll was when me and Ben rode up to Cleveland, and when we were in the Cuyahoga Valley, I had to stop when I saw this reflection. I just thought that was so cool with the bridge. The water was so still. It's usually not still enough to get that cool of a reflection, or that clear of a reflection. I also like this, so I shot one vertical, and I'm not sure which one I like better. In general, I like landscape over portrait for most shots, but this one I kind of like the bottom reflection. It's kind of neat. Let me know down below which one you think is a better shot. This is at the Canal Exploration Center. Just stopped to take another photo of my bike. Can never have too many of those. I always hope, that seeing that on that day, on Sunday was kind of cool. I'm like, definitely got to shoot that. I think it's the way a lot of us are feeling right now, right? We went up to Joy Machines. Ben had something he needed to pick up, but I didn't go in because of the, social distancing rules that are already in place and the, not being essential. It was nice. Alex popped his head out, and the owner, and then we were able to talk at a distance for a little bit. But I like the old light and their sign up there. This is across the street. I've never been in the grocery, and again, didn't go in this day. Didn't go in anywhere. But yeah, the red door and the lines and everything squared up there is kind of cool. Another fire hydrant. There's something about fire hydrants, as I said in the last video. And I remember the first roll of color film I shot when I got back into analog photography years ago had a fire hydrant on it. I think it's just, they're the different colors, the slightly different shapes, and the different level of amount of rust on them. It's something that, here being a newer one, maybe that should be a series of mine, or a photo exhibit, fire hydrants of the world, right? Oh, I guess these are a little out of order. This one's on the way up, and this is like there used to be a roundhouse here, I guess. We stopped and were reading the interpretive signage, but it's right when you're getting into Ohio City, and the lines on the sky were just pretty cool. It was a beautiful day, very cold in the morning, but a nice ride. This is back up in Ohio City, looking the other way from the bike shop with the skyscrapers, office towers of Cleveland in the background. This Joy Machines neon sign, Joy here, is so cool. And I love all the depth in this shot. So the neon sign, the reflections of the city on the window, and then looking deeper into the shot, you can kind of stare at this and figure out where the different layers are actually. While Ben was in the shop, I just kind of roamed around a little bit, and this was a really cool color building. And I love that kind of hand-cut lettering, Jamestown. I actually, in the Super G video, had an image of this building from the other side, but from here it was really cool with the different kind of steps up with the mural, then the white building, then the yellow behind it. Looking into Joy Machines, just their signage and their bikes, it's so cool. I got Boris sitting in there in the background, kind of caught a bad expression on him. And then, yeah, this would be the last shot. I kind of really wanted to go in and check out those crust bikes, but I figured that'll have to wait for another time. So anyways, that's the last 2 rolls of C41 for a little bit. You know, yeah, dive back into that black and white stuff and still be making some more cycling videos, just not as close to anyone apparently. So I hope everyone's staying safe out there and that everybody is getting by. You can see my work has slowed way down. I'll be doing more of this kind of thing. So till next time, cheers.